Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Habitual Crypto. I'm your host, Dan, and here we try to develop good habits in trading cryptocurrency as well as go over some current news for the day, and do some technical analysis for different crypto charts. Thank you for joining us. Hi, Victor and Mary. Let's go, Vic. Let's go. Let me know if my audio sounds good. I'm gonna put the music back on and let's see if it's too loud. Let me know, or not loud enough. Still trying to work out my levels here. Um, I got some good stuff for today. I want to start by diving right into the Bitcoin chart because this is something we looked at yesterday, and I drew these I drew these lines yesterday. I drew this ascending wedge yesterday, which is normally a bearish pattern, um, but like I said, Bitcoin has been breaking many of the rules as far as it is has so much momentum right now that a bearish pattern isn't really going to stop it like most assets would. And as you can see, we broke out of this. We broke out of this ascending wedge. We came up. This is on the 4 hour chart, and we stayed up for a little bit and came down, and right, you can see right at this resistance point, we made this line support and bounced exactly off of it. And now Bitcoin is currently, as we're streaming, hitting all-time highs again, hitting 42,000. It went up to, sorry, 52,000. It went up to 52, $368 on Coinbase, and is now right around 52. We're above 52,000. That is a new all-time highs. This has been happening every few days, and yeah, it's great. This is exactly what you want to see um, in these charts. You want to see breaking above the resistance, coming down, and making support on that level, because now that we've made it support, we hit it almost a couple times here. That is a new support line. This is, you know, if we go a lot higher and then come down, this can act as another support, keeping us from going lower. So, will we stay above this? This all happened. Uh, we did close out the day. Did we close out today? Yeah, we closed out yesterday above the line, so that's a great signal that we're on track to hold this. I would say an even better signal would be to close out the week. To close out the week on Sunday above that resistance line is a really good sign that we're going to stay above that for the short term, and hopefully the long term. But yeah, I just want to show you that because we saw that yesterday happening, and now it came to fruition. And so to measure where we might be going from here, let me turn the auto off. So I'm just going to show you. Get my rectangle here. This is from the breakout, okay? From the breakout down here, we came up that high. Okay, so this is the flag pole. Remember, I talked about bear flags and bull flags. So this is an ascending wedge, but it's also technically a bear flag because it's going up instead of down a little bit. But it turned out it was a bear flag that turned bullish. So basically, our target is the way these work is. Let me get here. You want to measure from the top of the pole here. To where the breakout started. So we'll take that and then let's copy that. And we're going to move that over to where our breakout started. So this is technically the technical analysis pattern that should play out eventually. We should be hitting the $59,000 mark to complete this pattern. That's what should happen. That's how these patterns normally play out. So obviously there's a lot of fundamental news that could change that. But we blow. I thought was really good. And there's a guy called Anthony Pompliano. You can follow him on Twitter. You can also follow us on Twitter at Habitual Crypto. If you're on Twitter, that'd be great. But this was on CNBC yesterday, and I know I talked a lot about what my what I foresee happening in the crypto market and with Bitcoin over the next few years. But this is just more confirmation that I think we're doing well. Let me just turn down the music for a second. And here we go.
Let's get straight to it because Bitcoin hitting a fresh high of 50,000 earlier today before giving back some of the gain. Tesla, just the most recent large company to open up to the digital currency. Previously and perhaps more quietly, MasterCard, BNY Mellon also did the same. Is wider corporate adoption the key to keeping Bitcoin at these levels? And Brian Kelly, I will start with you. You are a resident Bitcoin baller, and I'll get to Anthony, of course, after this. But in your view, why is Bitcoin, why does it keep marching higher? And at any point in your time, have you ever said to yourself, BK, Bitcoin is overvalued right here?
So to answer the second question first, yes. But every time I've thought it's overvalued, it proves to be the wrong move because it keeps marching higher. So just to be clear, I don't think it's overvalued here. What I've consistently said since last spring, Bitcoin is on a trajectory to hit 65,000 by May. That's generally what it did in 2016 after the halving. We are right on track with that, and I think that's a pretty good estimate to say. Once we get to 60,000, we'll have to see. The way I'm looking at it now, you might get an overshoot. It might go higher than that. Maybe at that point you say it's overvalued. But back to the first question in terms of what's driving it here, it's definitely this corporate balance sheet as well as institutions. And they generally are stronger hands than what we had in 2017 which was really hot retail money that as soon as it started to drop, just really dumped out of it. That doesn't mean that institutions are immune from fear and greed, but they generally have a longer time frame. And so that's just a stronger backing to this rally.
Yeah. Pomp, I'll go to you on this. Do you see 60,000? I mean, 60,000 could be like a week from now at the rate Bitcoin is going. I mean, in all seriousness, what is the case? What is the fundamental case? Can you make a fundamental case in terms of modeling and all that, traditional Wall Street stuff for Bitcoin to go to 65K?
Yeah, look, thanks for having me, first of all. I think, I'm not a trader, so I don't really worry about the short-term price movements. I'd look a little bit longer term. And I think that Bitcoin at $50,000 is incredibly undervalued given what we're looking at. And so if you go back to March of last year, there was a liquidity crisis due to the public health concern. You had the elected officials and central banks around the world step in. They have printed an unprecedented amount of money. After this next 1.9 trillion, 40% of all dollars in circulation will have been created in the last 12 months, just unprecedented level of quantitative easing. And so what that has forced is retail investors, financial institutions, and now corporations to scour the globe looking for where do they protect their wealth? Where do they put dollars to ensure that they are protected? And what they've concluded is Bitcoin is one of, if not the best solutions for that problem. And so I think that what we're going to continue to see is this kind of wall of money. It's not even a wall, it's an avalanche of money coming into the market. But the key piece to the whole thing that people have to understand from a market structure standpoint is Bitcoiners are not selling their Bitcoin. 60% of all Bitcoin has not moved in the last 12 months. That includes hundreds of percent of upside. That also includes a single day of 50% drawdown. Bitcoiners are not selling. And so the only thing that can happen is when these large dollars come into the space looking to buy Bitcoin, the US dollar price has to appreciate rapidly to accommodate everyone. I think that's what we're seeing play out right now.
Yeah, so that was Anthony Pompliano. He's been involved in Bitcoin a long time, so he may have a little bias there, but what he's saying is true. 60% of Bitcoin hasn't moved in over a year. People are holding it, and just to give you another kind of visual representation of that, I'm going to bring just a chart on the screen here. This is, it's basically called like whale watch. Basically, all of these green blips you see on this chart are massive buys, like thousands of Bitcoin bought at once. And these guys are buying the Bitcoin and then they are moving it to hard storage. Now, if you're getting involved in Bitcoin now, let me just turn the music back on here. If you're getting involved in Bitcoin now, I would say you don't have to worry about hard storage right now. But the difference is you buy Bitcoin from Coinbase, you buy it from PayPal, from Binance, which we'll talk about later. That is that your Bitcoin is on their exchange. So they hold your Bitcoin keys, okay? And the keys are basically long letter codes and number codes that you can write down, and that's how you can get into your wallet, okay? When you're on these exchanges, technically they're holding your keys, so technically they are holding your Bitcoin and you don't personally have it in your hands. Now, I don't think any of these big exchanges are going to be running away with your Bitcoin, but you're still putting there's a very, very, very small risk that, they are central exchanges. They are, they could be, hacked. A lot of them are insured. So, you don't have to worry about that, especially if you're just getting into this, but a big saying in the crypto community is not your keys, not your Bitcoin. So, that, eventually down the line, you're going to want to possibly move it onto cold storage, which there's something called a ledger wallet. Basically, it's like a hard drive that you can transfer your Bitcoin on and put it like in a safe or a safety security box, something like that. But that's what a lot of people do. And then a lot of these companies, this chart here, these guys are buying, some of the, if you look up here at the top, this is 1,000 to 10,000 Bitcoin it's talking about. And these guys are buying hundreds of millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin and putting them in cold storage. They're not planning on selling it to you or anybody else anytime soon. They are in it for the long haul. So you can look at this chart and see like where it's getting bought up. If I move this over a little bit, this is talking about, let me see here so you guys could see a little better. But basically, it's a strong demand zone between 46,500 and 48,500. That has turned into, because of all these buys, this has turned into a big consolidation zone. So now we're at 52. If it drops down there, most likely there's going to be another big buy there. So you can look at this as a support level now. That's what this that's what this is saying. And then they say if Bitcoin drops below that, there's a good chance we could head down to around 40,000, which is before Elon Musk, where Tesla's announcement came out, right around 40,000, and have a support there. So, but I mean, you can look at this in a couple ways. One way is a support, and then another way is that big money is still coming in at these high levels at $48,000. There's a lot of buys here, and these guys are not keeping it on the exchange. They're putting it in cold storage for a set amount of time, if not permanently. They're holding it as a store of value. So I just wanted to show you that. Yeah, let me see here. Mary asks, okay, so does that mean the US dollar will regain its value over time? So another thing I wanted to talk about a little bit, there's a good chance another stimulus package is, coming out, which means I believe it's around 1.9 trillion if it passes as is. That's going to cause more inflation. And a lot of Americans are going to be getting, I believe it's like $1,400 checks per person. So when back in March, when the U.S. sent out the first $1,200 checks, there was a lot of Bitcoin bought at whatever level it was at there, but $1,200 worth of Bitcoin, a lot of purchases that were that were bought at that exact amount. So people took that stimulus and put it right in Bitcoin. And I saw something about if you put your stimulus, if you put that 1,200 into Bitcoin, it's well above. It would have been well above $5,000 now. So that was pretty cool. And so, but my point is the dollar going to be coming back? I think eventually, but eventually it will have a upswing and come back to. Here, let me pull up the dollar chart. This is the dollar currency index. So let's pull that up, and this is a 4-hour chart. Let's look at the daily. So as you can see, this is back in, let's see. So this was the end of the 2017 bull run for crypto, for Bitcoin, okay? And as you can see, as soon as that ended in January, as soon as, I mean, this may be a coincidence. I don't think it's quite a coincidence, but as soon as the Bitcoin bull run ended, the dollar started regaining value again. I don't think they're directly correlated like that. They are correlated in a sense, but what you can see is we came all the way up, and the dollar, ever since the pandemic hit, okay, the dollar has fell quite dramatically. We had a little, a little rebound here, a little bit, but we're talking, if I put this on the weekly chart here, this is, this goes back to 1986, okay? It was at 130 on the valuation for this chart, but we are making. Let me get the brush here. We're making lower low, lower high, another lower low, lower high, and if things continue as they are, if we keep printing money nonstop, and I'm not saying that there's different debates on whether it's a good thing or not, but every country is trying to get people through this. But if the pattern continues, we're most likely going to be making a lower low. Okay, so and this goes back to 1986. This isn't like and then eventually come back up, and maybe we come back around where we are now. Now this doesn't have to happen. We could let me erase that. We could just come down and kind of create a consolidation zone. So create a higher low and do something like this, and then go back up. There's so many factors that are going to affect this. No one can really tell what's going to happen. But if you look at sorry, one sec. I mean, it's, there's a good chance we could at some point come back up to this line and come back down. But this is the basic trend is that the dollar has been losing value over the past 3 decades about. And that's not to say, another country is going to take over as far as the world currency. It could very well be Bitcoin. Because it's worldwide already, and it's already helping countries that have, lost control of their currency. It's become worthless. So yeah, to answer your question, Mary, there's a lot of factors, but for the time being, and even the Fed has said they're going to keep until we're out of this, terrible situation. So hopefully that's sometime soon, and we'll see what happens. But there is, if you look closer at some of these charts, they're like, if the dollar has a big bounce one day, most of the time that means stocks and crypto and like gold and silver will have a bad day. Now that doesn't always happen, and especially with Bitcoin and crypto, it can be a little different there. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, it is a good thing to watch the dollar to see, especially if you're trading. Keep an eye on the dollar and how it's doing. But most likely we had a little rebound here. Most likely we're headed back down if I had to guess. Again, not financial advice, but just want to let you guys know what I think about that. And yeah, so back to Bitcoin. So this is the Bitcoin market cap. Okay, so this is all of the money that is in Bitcoin alone, not all of crypto. There's more in all of crypto combined with Bitcoin, but this is just Bitcoin. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because this was a 2017 all-time high, and we, look at as soon as we broke this. This was all-time high. We broke it, closed a candle above it, then came down and tested it as support, and then boom, it went. And this went from, the top 3 years ago was $334 billion, okay? And we were, in the lowest point we were at $60 billion. And we are most likely days away from hitting $1 trillion, which I'll put a mark there. But you see how close we are and how fast it's been going up. And $1 trillion is a big point. Like, people think, oh, it's getting riskier to invest in Bitcoin because it hit 50,000. That I would argue the other side of that a lot of these investors look at Bitcoin as safer now that it's hit 50,000. The more money that goes into Bitcoin, the actual more secure the asset becomes. And reaching $1 trillion is a lot of investment companies won't touch an asset until it's hit $1 trillion. As far as like big assets, I'm talking like gold or you know silver, stuff like that. But yeah, it's about to hit $1 trillion. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens within this week. It would not shock me whatsoever. And it kind of solidifies Bitcoin as like not long ago, years ago, people, you know, J.P. Morgan was saying Bitcoin's a Ponzi scheme 3 years ago, and now they just recently started a crypto sector, and they think Bitcoin's going to hit 160,000. That was their this cycle. That was their guess. So, you know, people change, and they don't want to miss the boat. So, but yeah, we're almost hitting $1 trillion, and that's going to be really cool for Bitcoin, and that will mean the price is around 54,000. So we'll see what happens with that. And so this is back to, let me go to the Bitcoin chart here for, okay, so this is the weekly, so let's go. Yeah, so I was talking about earlier, this is the Bitcoin chart. We drew this ascending wedge yesterday. This, you can think of this as a flag. This is the flagpole. So in technical analysis, you would basically copy that distance that it's went and bring it up to find out where your target is. So our target is roughly 59,000 to finish this, to complete this pattern. So that would be a really good support to kind of, if you were trading this, a lot of people would kind of look around this area as a possible resistance spot. So we might get up here. I'm not saying we won't hit resistance before then, but when we do get up this high, there could very well be some resistance there. And let's see here. So today I wanted to we'll go through the Bitcoin and Ethereum chart, and then I wanted to go through basically focus on exchange coins today. So I'll explain them soon, but we could do that. We could do this now. So let's go down to the daily. So looking at the daily chart, we're still well above the 21-day moving average. So, Bitcoin can still have a correction. And it wouldn't be a bad thing if it kind of would be more healthy to come down a little bit, make support on a moving average like this, and then keep going up. You want to basically create those higher highs, higher lows, and keep going up smooth and steady. You don't want to go up so fast and then have this be over. Have the momentum be over. You want to, and until I see institutional money like really die down, which MicroStrategies, they let's put on some. MicroStrategies is one of the big investment companies that invests a lot in Bitcoin. They just invested another, they are going to invest another $900 million, and that's huge. And he also, Michael Saylor, the guy who owns that, just hosted a virtual conference that that any companies or institutions they went to or they watched online, and it was all about how these companies could invest in Bitcoin. And a lot of companies attended that, and Michael Saylor going ahead and buying 900 million, says to me he might know that many of them are going to go through with buying, with investing some of their portfolio, whether it be 1, 5, 10% of it, just to hedge against inflation. So he might know that, which is why he, hasn't stopped buying himself for their company. But yeah, it's, we're looking good. We are hitting, all-time highs as we speak. We're at 52,400. It's looking good. And long term, on the daily chart, everything looks good. Let's do this here. So I want to go to the Ethereum chart now. And so this is Ethereum. This is the daily chart. And Ethereum has been on a great, healthy, still going pretty high, but a pretty healthy chart here. And we're in a channel, an ascending channel that I'm going to draw out for you here. And when you draw these out, you want to hit as many spots as you can. I would even do that. So that's a bigger time frame. Very healthy. We had a breakout here, and then long consolidation period, another breakout, and these are all like ascending wedges. And let's go to a smaller time frame, but if this continues, we might dip down to 1650 again, but then we're just going to keep going past 2000. 2000 is going to be a big psychological mark. It's going to be a big resistance spot. So once we pass that, though, I personally believe, not financial advice, but I think we're going to use that as kind of a springboard to really, once we close a daily candle above that and come back down and make a support, we could really move up pretty fast from there. So let's this is more of a long-term look at it. But again, if we break 2000, there's a good chance we break out of this ascending wedge and keep going higher, but it could go even more vertical. But let's go to the hourly chart here. And we're gonna do a similar pattern here, but this is gonna, because we haven't been really touching down on the bottom of this wedge here. This has become more of a resistance spot. It's turning more into a triangle formation. So let me just show that here, and I'll show you how many times we let's make this purple here, or let's do white. Okay, so this is more of a triangle here, and what I see happening, if you look closely, we hit right here, there's one resistance, we hit it here, we did get above it for a second, but these are hourly candles, so we didn't close like a day above this line, and we came back down, hit it again here, and then came back down, hit it here, and now we're bouncing up again against it now. When there is a very good chance when we break this line again and hold above it for like a 4-hour candle, we could have a big move. Okay, we've been consolidating. We had this big move, and now we've been consolidating pretty much, here to here for, almost a week now. And Ethereum is due for a big move, like we talked about yesterday. I think it's went up like 40% past its all-time high, while Bitcoin has gone up 130%, probably more than that now. But it looks like Ethereum, I would be very surprised if we don't see a big move. Again, not financial advice, but after we break out of this this triangle here, I think the chances are really good that we break out of this. And let's see here. Yeah, it's an ascending triangle here, because the top is flat, but we're ascending up on the bottom. And most of the time this is bullish, okay? If the bottom was flat and we were heading down, most of the time we'll break out the bottom and head down. But this is a good bullish pattern, and Ethereum has been bullish. I mean, this is since the beginning of the year, January. This whole year so far has been great. They just broken all-time highs here and just keep going. So, and I mean, look at this pattern. Okay, it certainly looks like we're doing a very similar move here. We came up, made, higher high, consolidated, then boom, another move up. Now we're consolidating again, and because this is a little tighter than this one, it's probably going to end sooner. We need to go one way or the other by February 22nd. And most of the time, like I said, these patterns don't go all the way to the very end. They normally break a little before the end. So I would, we're right there right now. So, and with Bitcoin, moving the way it is, Bitcoin is pulling all of the other cryptos up with it, or at least a lot of them. It's bringing money into the market, and when Bitcoin moves like this, it will bring, all of the other currencies' dollar pairs, like dollar valuations, should rise. Most of them will. Now, the other the altcoins with their Bitcoin pairing, that will probably decrease because Bitcoin is stealing the show right now. It's having a really good day, hitting all-time highs, and it may, not many people are focused on the other coins right now. So we will see what happens, but yeah, Ethereum looks like it's ready to go. Not financial advice, but I would not be surprised if we break this within the next couple days and have a big move up. If we break 2,000, that would be great. That would be a really good thing for Ethereum, and I think the momentum could pick up a lot with Ethereum because it has some catch up to do compared to Bitcoin. So that's the Ethereum. Let me know if you have any questions. And I don't hear the music on my end. I guess I could, but I don't know if it's good. Okay. It's pretty, I don't know if you guys like it or not, but could try something else. So I want to go through the exchanges like I was talking about before. Just give me 1 second. Just wanted to fix that sun coming in. We haven't had sun, I feel like, in a few days, so so yeah, can't really hear the music, sorry. Let me know if that's good. Okay, so I wanted to talk about exchange coins, so cryptocurrency. So let me pull some up here. So this is Binance, and this is they have Binance US and just regular Binance if you're not in the US, and you can purchase. This is like the biggest central exchange for trading a ton of cryptocurrencies. So when you buy at like PayPal or Coinbase, there aren't as many options. Coinbase has quite a few now, but you cannot buy everything you might want to. And Binance has, you know, hundreds, if not thousands, of different cryptos you can buy. So this is one way you can, you know, if you want to get into this industry, if you want to buy different types of coins or different coins that you're interested in, you can definitely go on Binance US for most of you. And the thing about Binance is it is a central exchange. So, you know, they technically own your crypto keys. They, you know, if you know, they have your Bitcoin or your crypto in their hands. Okay, so that's why a lot of people really into cryptocurrencies would, you know, not that they don't use Binance to trade, but they'll take their coins off of it and put them in their own hard storage or their own decentralized wallet. So they have they're actually holding it themselves rather than trusting, you know, a central exchange to hold it for you. But Binance has their own coin called BNB that they trade, and I'm just going to pull up CoinMarketCap is where you can go to take a look at all of the current cryptocurrencies and their valuation and their market cap. So these are the top, you know, I think it goes down to 100, but it has pretty much all of them on here in that order. So you have Bitcoin at the top. The market cap's 972 billion. Like I said, we're almost at $1 trillion. And this is a great, you know, you can check your own portfolios in your wallets, but if you're just interested in what the what certain values are, you can go on here and yeah, so you have Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether, which we'll talk about in another stream. I'll talk about stable coins more, but Tether is a stable coin, meaning it tries to peg itself as close to $1 at all times. So you can see its price right now is 0.999 of $1. So 99.9 cents. And basically Tether is used to, there's some other ones as well, but Tether's used to like trade on exchanges like Binance. If you want to trade like Bitcoin to dollar, you can trade it with Tether instead of trading it to actual US dollars. You can trade it to USDT here, which normally is pegged at $1. You could see now, well, it was at $1 for a second. I think because Bitcoin is moving a lot today, there's probably a ton of volume that's keeping it a little below $1, but we're talking 0.002 cents so to the dollar. But my point is, a lot of people use stable coins to trade their cryptos with. So instead of trading, Ethereum for Bitcoin, you can trade Ethereum for dollars, and you can sorry. Hold on, Vic. I will get to that question in 1 second. But yeah, there's basically you can use another cryptocurrency called a stable coin to trade with dollars instead of trading back and forth to your real dollars. And then there's Polkadot, Cardano, and then here's Binance Coin. And Binance Coin has gone up in the past 7 days. Where'd it go? Sorry. Binance Coin has gone up 29% in the past 7 days. And this is this in dollars? Yeah, so it actually went up 30% in the past 24 hours. So this is because Binance is even though it's centralized, it's very easy for anybody to get on there, make a quick account, and start trading a lot of cryptocurrencies. So I mean, this coin was probably ranked number 20 a couple weeks ago, but since Tesla bought and the retail investor has really started picking up lately, you can see here it's been going up crazy. We'll chart it out so you can see, but that's Binance. That's a centralized exchange. Now, if we go down here, Uniswap is a decentralized exchange, and Uniswap, I will pull it up here for you. This is Uniswap, okay? And basically, I would look up a YouTube tutorial to set up a Uniswap account because it's easy if you follow the instructions, but it is probably a little bit different. It's not just like put your email in. It's not like that because it's decentralized. It's more about your end of things rather than trusting a central source to help out with everything. But Uniswap, the way it works, it's a decentralized exchange, so you can and it allows you to trade any Ethereum type coins. Now, I explained yesterday, a lot of cryptocurrencies are part of the Ethereum code. So they run on the Ethereum network, and most of them are called ERC20 tokens. And Uniswap, you can trade any ERC20 tokens. Okay, and there's a lot of cryptocurrencies are ERC20 tokens. Now, Bitcoin is not an ERC20 token, but they have on Uniswap, they have what's called wrapped Bitcoin, which is basically it's it's the same exact price as Bitcoin at all times, but it's basically Bitcoin written in Ethereum's code. So it becomes an ERC20 token. It basically gives people the ability to trade Bitcoin on this exchange as well. But the cool thing about these decentralized exchanges, not only are you in control of your own keys and your own money, but they, like Binance and Coinbase, these centralized exchanges, they take fees when you're buying and selling, and they are holding all of the currency, and they're making interest on it. They're collecting fees on when it's moved around. They, just like banks do, they take all of your money and they basically, they'll buy government bonds. They'll make interest on it while it's your money, and then they'll give you like 0.03% in your savings account for a year. Like, you make barely anything. But the cool thing with Uniswap is you become the liquidity provider. You become the bank. So what you can do, you can take the way they make it so all of these cryptocurrencies can be traded is they take half Ethereum. So let's say you wanted to trade if you wanted to trade for any of these coins, you can just go basically trade. You can trade any crypto on here for any other crypto. So you don't need to trade with dollars or with Bitcoin. You can trade. It does the trading for you, so you can trade any crypto you own for another crypto that you want, which is really cool. But the way they do that is they allow the users to provide the liquidity. So you need, if you want to trade, let's say Dogecoin, okay, just for fun, let's say you wanted to get some Dogecoin. If there was no pool of Dogecoin in Uniswap, then you wouldn't be able to get any. So the way they fill these pools so people can trade all of these coins is they allow the users to provide the liquidity. So what you would need is let's say you had 10 Ethereum and then 10 Ethereum worth of Dogecoin. Okay, so that might, because Dogecoin is worth like cents, it might be like 10,000 Dogecoin and 10 Ethereum, okay? But they're equal in dollar value, okay? And you would be a liquidity provider. You would put them through Uniswap, put them in a liquidity pool. And then when people trade, now they can trade in that pool. Let's say someone wants 10 Dogecoin. They can go in and trade for 10 Dogecoin. And instead of Binance or Coinbase getting those fees that are generated and interest that's generated, the liquidity providers get it. The users get it. So it's decentralized, and everyone's basically working together to create the market. To create these liquidity pools so everyone can trade what they want to trade, and the users are receiving the benefit from that, as opposed to these central exchanges and banks. It's very similar to banks. Instead of you become the lender instead of just putting your money in the bank and letting them lend it out and collect interest, or let them invest it in something and collect the profits off that. You become the liquidity provider. So it's really cool. A lot of people can make income, monthly income or daily income by just providing the liquidity and not doing anything. It's pretty cool. So, but yeah, if you want to get involved in Uniswap, you can definitely ask me in the comments, and I could help you out setting that up. But yeah, that's Uniswap, and we're going to look at both of those tokens. And we're going to look at one more token, which is called Sushiswap. And Sushiswap, it may sound funny, but it's also, and before I get to that, I just want to answer Vic's question here. The Voyager app for investing crypto, because they give interest, and they have no fees for buying. Yeah, I'm not. I have heard of Voyager. I have never used it, and I'm not totally familiar with it. But what I can say is there are a lot of applications that give you interest for basically holding your Bitcoin with them or holding your cryptocurrency, and that is exactly what Sushi. This is a good. So I'll look up Voyager and see. I'm pretty sure I've heard of it a bunch of times, so I'm sure it's pretty legitimate. I know Celsius is another one that you can collect like close to like 8% interest a year off of just holding your Bitcoin with them. So I would look into that, but I think there's definitely good ways to hold your crypto where you can actually make something off of it. And this is Sushiswap. I just wanted to so there's a lot of things you can do. Let me just bring this down a little bit. So this is the liquidity for the day. There's $3.72 billion in liquidity today in Sushiswap, meaning like that's how much money is in these currencies, in these cryptocurrency pools that people can trade. And there's been $432 million worth of volume trading, pretty much. We were talking about interest before. You can put basically it's called they call it farming, where you can make APY just for so like this is called cover. This is an insurance based cryptocurrency, and you put cover with wrapped ETH. So basically it's the same thing as Ethereum, but you would, if you bought cover and you had the same dollars worth of ETH, you can put them in this liquidity pool and make 94.8% yearly interest on that. which sounds crazy, but and again, this isn't financial advice, but there's just you being the lender in these things with these decentralized exchange, you can make a lot of income without doing much. You're just providing the liquidity, and you won't find these types of rates anywhere, really anywhere else. So, and the way you get this interest is they'll give you the sushi token, which is currently worth about $15 per token. So with this, depending on how much liquidity you provide, but you can make 0.16 sushi a day, but that's per $1,000. So if you put $10,000 in, you'd make 1.6 sushi a day, which is like close to $25 a day, just by putting $10,000 worth of cover and Ethereum into this liquidity pool. Now this is variable, this will change, but right now that's the percentage they're making. So it's pretty cool, but I just wanted to show you a little bit of the different exchanges. So SushiSwap and Uniswap are the two biggest decentralized exchanges, and then Binance is the biggest central exchange. And there's plenty of other central exchanges, but if you're in the US, Binance is the easiest one to get up and running with if you want to trade certain cryptocurrencies. But let me go ahead. Let's chart out the. We'll first do the Binance, which has been having an incredible day today. We saw this is the hourly chart. Let's go to the 4-hour. And I mean, pretty much this is about the beginning of the year. Binance was around $40, $40 to $45 up and down. But then, as you can see, like as you scroll forward, this went crazy. This went parabolic really fast, and this is a good sign that that retail investment is coming in, because, like I said, it's a centralized exchange. If you Google like buy different cryptocurrencies, I'm sure Binance is one of the first things that comes up, and like this is all consolidation. So this was all building up to this, but obviously there was a lot of fundamentals that came with, but since February 1st, and again, this is most likely due to Elon tweeting about Bitcoin, and I mean a bunch of other, just Bitcoin going up in general has brought a lot of people, but we're talking up to today, it peaked at 222% from the breakout, and I mean that's a great investment for a couple weeks. This was February 1st. Okay, so when I talk about like different coins being great investments, like this is this is a really good example of what can happen in these markets, and there's a good argument to be made that this has plenty more to go. But let's just we'll mark out let's mark out a more long-term picture, and this is a dollar value. So so you can expect, turn the auto off here. You can expect this to make a move here, and now I'm gonna do this. I know it's after the fact, but if you take you know, make a relative line here as a resistance point, you can see it getting tighter and tighter. So it was obvious that something was going to happen here. You can see how tight it was, only moving between like a couple dollars back and forth for you know, the last few days, until it finally broke that resistance. And you can see what happens when resistance gets broken. Sometimes it will, let's see if it, we'll go to the 15-minute chart and see if it, yeah, it didn't even come down and make support. It just broke out and kind of went crazy there. So, but this is why, like, you know, I would never tell anyone to invest right now, because yeah, it could go a lot higher, but once you see it, if you've missed the move, you want to wait, see how it got all the way up to 147, and then it came back down to 116. You want to wait for that confirmation a couple times that this is the new bottom. Okay, you see it hit here twice. So, and then it went back up. So even if you buy in at 120 or something, that's better than trying to guess when this is gonna go back down. Because, you know, if you buy now, it could very well come back down, you know, 15% or so. You know, I guess you don't want to try to catch a falling knife, they say. So it's better to wait for another consolidation pattern. Okay, and most likely a similar pattern to this is going to form on Binance. You know, once we get that correction here, once it hits its top and comes back down, then we'll be able to form with the two tops most likely it's going to be an ascending wedge again. So like a channel that will give you more of an idea of, you know, how this is going to keep going up, and you know, when it's actually going to top out. So most likely, let's just pretend that's the top there. And it goes something like this. Now, most likely, it would do something like this and kind of consolidate, and then go up to the next leg, okay? But a good warning sign that maybe this is the top would be is if it first of all broke that line, if it came down and broke through, that's a good warning sign. But even if it broke through, if it keeps making a higher low compared to this line here, compared to this consolidation, then it could still go back up and keep making higher lows. But as soon as you see, you know, something like this, now you're making lower lows. And this pattern here, if it did something like that, that's a pretty wonky pattern, but let's just say it did something like this. This is called a head and shoulders pattern. So you have the this being the left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder. And that is a bearish pattern, and something you want. If you see something like this forming, there's a good chance if the pattern completes, you're going to go down from this neckline here. If this is the head, you're going to go down from the head down to this amount, from the head down to the neckline. So you would copy this distance and put it here, and that would be a good point. You know, that would complete the pattern and might be another reversal area. But that's you know, none of the, I'm just trying to educate anybody interested in these types of patterns. But right now, everything looks good for Binance, really good. I mean, it's having a parabolic move right now, and we'll keep that line there and see if that's really the top, but it could very well break through that today, keep going higher, and we could adjust that tomorrow to see where it's headed. But yeah, most likely it's going to stay in this channel or break out of it, and even go higher, because we're in a bull market right now. There's no real reason that Binance will be, you know, losing value. We'll see what happens. And then, so that was Binance, and now I want to go to Uniswap, which is actually one of the altcoins I'm personally invested in, because I really believe in the decentralized exchanges, and I think once mainstream retail understands it, you know, a lot of them do already, but there's a lot more options for trading on there, and you can be the lender. Like I was saying, you can make interest off people investing in cryptocurrency, trading cryptocurrency. You can be on the end getting those fees or that interest. It's really cool. So it's a decentralized exchange, and yeah, we were at $5 roughly until second week in January, and then we had a nice, pretty much 100% move up to almost $10. Came back down, and let's just draw. Let's draw this out. So this is a good example of a bear or a bull flag. So I'll zoom in a little bit. But we had the breakout. We had a nice move up. And then we had some consolidation here, a little bit down, like 10 to 20% down, and then back up again. This is a clear bull flag. And then, yeah, we kept going. You know, it's all the way up to, we peaked out all the way up at $23. So it's been almost $24. It's been a nice run for Uniswap, and I would say that we're probably, let's go to the 4-hour chart to try to kind of see what's going on a little bit more. So you can see, if you look from here, we were in an ascending channel here. You know, roughly an ascending channel, and really, if you're looking at the bottom line here, we kept bouncing, kept bouncing, kept bouncing. Then we started hitting it, and we broke this support line. And do you see what happened? I mean, we went from $22 to $16, $17 in a this one candle is a 4-hour candle. So this was, you know, roughly 24-hour period, but we went down quite a bit. But you can see this candle is a good sign, because what this means is it went all the way down to $17, $16, $17, excuse me, but it got bought back up within that 4 hours, all the way back up to 19, basically because of this support line here. You can see we hit it here before and bounced up. Okay, now we come back down, hit almost exactly the same spot, and bounce right back up. This is now, and you can see here we went past it a little bit, but right around the same spot, we came here and bounced back up. So right now, this is this $17 mark. It's been support for some major dips 3 times. So that is a good support line. If it was to come back down that far, that may be a great place to buy back in. Again, not financial advice, but that might be a good buying opportunity there. And now from there, you can see just in the past 2 days, let's go back to the hourly. We created another pattern here, and when you draw these, basically you can either go from the wicks. Some people go from the wicks, the top of the wicks, or they go from the top of where the candle closed or started, and you see we're touching a lot of the wicks here, and you could do it either way, but most of the time you want to do the same thing. But basically, this was sort of a breakout from there, but the bigger point is that we are it's a bit, it looks to me like a big consolidation zone. So we had a nice move up, and now this is like, up and down, but it's relatively staying in a if we put another horizontal line here, it's staying in here most likely, and once we break this all-time high, then we will probably see a nice dip here. Now, it's most likely a consolidation zone, but just like we were talking about before, you can kind of see, and I'm going to go to the 4 hour, see if it's any clearer. But something to be aware of is this looks like it could end up being a head and shoulders, a bearish head and shoulders. So here's the right shoulder, and then here's the head, and then if this was to stay here and come down to this line one more time, even though it's a really good support, it is a head and shoulders pattern, and it could break through and go down a little bit past that. Now, if we continue up to here, and hit this again, that eliminates the head and shoulders pattern, because the right shoulder can't go up to where the headline is. Be a pretty goofy looking person if that was the case. But if this pattern completes and comes back down here, then you have a head and shoulders pattern, and you need to be a little cautious. You have to watch. That might not be the best place to buy. Not financial advice, but now if we come back up, test this again, and then come back down, I would say that's probably a good place to maybe make an entry there, because most likely we're going to bounce up again. But if it stays right in line with this other shoulder, and kind of forms another downward motion from there, then you want to watch out for that pattern. If I bring it to the hourly, I haven't really talked about the RSI, this purple, these two indicators, which I talked about yesterday. But if we're looking on a very short time frame, like the last 10 hours, let's say, that's what these candles represent. And it's been an upward motion, okay? Well, first, looking down here at the MACD, which is this area here, you can see the buying started to decrease here. The momentum, the buyers' momentum started to decrease, but now you see another green candle increasing. So what that tells me is that this move may not be done. We may be going up here and probably testing this channel again, if not hopefully breaking through it. But yeah, on the MACD here, you can see the buying pressure is not continuing its downward motion. The tide has turned again, and maybe we have another leg up buying wise. And as far as the RSI here, let's just pull that, make it a little wider. If I can do that. There we go. So the way the RSI works, so this is the hourly. It's not overbought yet. Once it goes above the 70 line here, that would be considered overbought on the hourly chart, okay? And some people will trade that way. They'll wait till it peaks above the 70 and trade down. But so we're having basically it's not as useful because, well, let's see, we're having on a longer term, we're having lower lows and a lower high. And that doesn't really give us any sign with the RSI. We would need more data on a longer term time frame for it to really help. So, I don't see anything here with the RSI helping. Like, for instance, if we were to get to all-time highs and the RSI was not in an overbought position yet, that's a good sign that we may be going even higher. But if we get to the all-time highs and the RSI is up here, then there's a good chance we're going to come back down a little bit and then have to retest. Now, the way the RSI might, if we got to all-time highs, if we got up here, most likely it will be in the overbought section, but the RSI will keep going down if we stay up here. So if we go up here and keep bouncing off of that for a while, the RSI might come back down, which will give us a little more signal that we could break through the resistance here. I hope that makes sense. But yeah, we'll do more RSI stuff on other charts as well. But that's Uniswap. I feel like this is a good consolidation zone, and this big dip here, I know exactly what this was. This was when Bitcoin had a big dip. It kind of brings everything down with it. Most of if it falls at a fast rate, like that day, I believe Bitcoin went down like 22 to 25%. And that type of move is going to bring down the altcoins too, their dollar value. Now, with Uniswap, it might have went down much further, except it had some nice support here and it was able to bounce back. Buyers saw that and took advantage of that spot. And it bounced right back up. So I think we're in a consolidation pattern. I think eventually, like, technical analysis is not some, besides like specific patterns needing to end by a certain date, it's not a magic, it's not something, that just tells the future. It's just improving your probability of things happening, and when it will happen, we don't know. You need to have patience when you're trading like this. Like, you see that a big move will come. There's bullish patterns, so things look good, but you need to have the patience to wait until it actually happens. Otherwise, you could trade out of it beforehand and then miss the boat when it does have these big moves. But anyway, that's Uniswap is looking good. We'll just bring it out here to the daily again. And yeah, I think we're looking good here. I think we'll probably consolidate here a little bit, and hopefully when we break out of here, there'll be a big move, hopefully up to closer to $30. And now we can go to Sushiswap, which looks pretty similar to Uniswap as far as its pricing goes. The cool thing about Uniswap, it first was listed on September 1st last year. So this is not an old project. This is a very new project, and it's already working its way up. Mark Cuban tweeted a video congratulating Sushiswap on getting a $3 billion market cap, or $3 billion locked up in liquidity. Maybe that's what it was. But it's just pretty cool. Let me turn the music on. That these projects can gain a lot of momentum. So here's Sushiswap. I'm just gonna. So this day it was listed. It came down, like when a coin gets listed, you don't necessarily want to be a part of it that day, because it can be either go up a lot from the market starts at, or it can go down a lot. So it's very risky. It's better to wait until things calm down. But you can see this was the basically the all-time high of the first day it was listed, where it closed at, and then we came down quite a bit, but this was a great buying zone. We're talking 60 cents, and now it's at $16. So and this wasn't that long ago. This was November. So it's had quite a good move here, but you can see as soon as we broke this all-time high, big move, followed by a bull flag, big move, bull flag, big move, and then we had a little correction here because it probably lost some steam. But now we are in a you can see we have higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. So, we can expect the same pattern to happen. Let's erase that and do a, let's go on the 4 hour and draw this out here. See what we're working with. So we're using those two lines, and so it's working in an ascending wedge here. If you go on a smaller time frame, go on the hourly here, you know, there's all these patterns within other patterns. So within this channel, we have on the hourly, so this is over the past few days, we hit the top again, made all-time highs, came back down, made a higher low from this point, and now we made a lower high. So what that tells me, you know, this is only a small time frame, so we could just keep going up and make another higher high, but most likely it looks like we might be consolidating a little bit. And so, I mean, you can draw that out like this. And now you have another pattern on a shorter time frame. So this is like, if you're day trading, you know, this is over a couple days, but whenever it breaks one of these lines, you're probably going to have a move up to here or down to here within this channel, but you'll still have, you know, this is how you can use these patterns to figure out what, you know, what it's looking like. If it comes up here and keeps like bouncing on this line, most of the time, if it keeps hitting and hitting it, it's probably going to break through, you know, third time's a charm or whatever. So there's a good chance it will break up here. And then, you know, if you were trading this and it came down here and it started bouncing back up, maybe you want to take an entry here. Not financial advice, but you could take an entry here, hoping it does break here. And then when it gets up to this resistance, you can sell there. You don't have to like hold it and hope that it goes past this resistance, because it might hit here and come back down here and now you've lost money. But just on this short, you know, let's see how much of a percentage. If you bought somewhere, if it bounced here, you wait for the you wait for this support to work. So it comes down here, hits here, and then starts heading back up. And let's say you buy somewhere around here, you know, that's a 15% move on that, just using, you know, an hourly chart. And that's if it broke this resistance. So maybe a better play, not financial advice, but you set your buy when you see it coming up to this line. You set your buy order a little above that line, so it breaks out, and then you buy right around here because you know it broke out of that pattern, and probability is that it's going to go up to at least, and it might take, you know, a day or two, but most likely it's going to come up here, and that's about a 10%, and then you can sell up there. You don't have to wait and hope it goes past that channel, but you could sell up there and make a nice 10% profit, and you have relatively low risk on that because you're following the technical analysis. You know, that's just one way you can look at it. I like to look at the longer term time frames personally, but if there's anyone on here, you know. But we'll leave these up. At some point when I get a little more established, I'm going to have all of these charts available on an application that you can make an account for and get access to all my charts. So you'll be able to look at these whenever you want. And eventually I want to have an alert system, because like if I wanted to trade this, I can put a warning here that says, that will alert me. TradingView, that's what this program is. It will alert me when it gets to this point. and then it will keep, that will tell me, okay, maybe I want to put a buy order in, and I could go and do that, or at least watch it and see if we actually hold above here for maybe an hour. That will give me confirmation that we're probably going to keep going here. So that's one way of looking at it. But that's Sushi and Uniswap and Binance. And let's just go check on Bitcoin once again. How's the music? I'm not even listening. Oh boy. Okay, we'll try that. Yeah, I'm still working on getting the music. I have to listen to some stuff. Find a good station. But let's just check in on Bitcoin here. We broke out, made support, and we've been holding there. We are at 52,400, almost about where we were before. But if we bring this into, let's say, the 5-minute chart, it's looking good, looking healthy. We made support back on this resistance and we're heading up, and now we'll probably consolidate here a little bit and hopefully keep going. But like I said, to finish this pattern, we have a little ways to go. It could take a little time, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see another, bigger move. I would say we probably are going to get to the $54,000 mark and maybe consolidate there a little bit. But Bitcoin looks good. And let's check in on Polkadot. So Polkadot is but let's back out a little bit. So this was our Fibonacci level, and you can see we broke through it. At 7 o'clock last night at close. So now we're making support and we're still going. So to complete this, we're going to be all the way up towards $37.50 from 32 where it is now. So we'll see what happens. I think, overall this is a nice chart. It's again, the main thing you want to focus on is the higher highs, higher lows, that kind of step pattern. going up. That's a healthy chart. And when you see that reverse where you're getting on like a daily time frame, that's when you might think, okay, maybe this trend is changing. But for the time being, you know, we would have to go lower than $23. We're at 32 right now, just to have a lower low. That would be pretty extreme for this. So things are looking good for Polkadot, and now could look at Litecoin. And again, we drew this yesterday, this Fibonacci retracement, and we also drew this line yesterday, which is the long-term channel. And as you can see, this is the last 4 hours. Not only did we break above this Fibonacci line, but we came back down and almost hit it exactly to make support. And now we've hit this channel, this line we made yesterday, and we have come back down. I want to zoom out a little bit here. Let's go on the daily really quick. So this is Litecoin. This is like, if Bitcoin's gold, Litecoin's silver. It's been around a very long time. But as you can see, this channel, we hit here, we hit down here, we hit here, and came back down. And now it looks like we're breaking through this channel, which is a pretty strong, you know, this goes all the way back to January 10th. So, I mean, these lines are not always perfect, but this is the daily. Let's go to the hourly. And I mean, we broke above this channel, and as we speak, let's see if it comes down and makes support on this line. It might not, because this is very close to our line here. So it may, if it does hold above this line for, like I said, you want to hold for like above an hour minimum. 4-hour candles better, 12-hour candles even better than that. But holding above it, you know, means we could see another big move up. You just need confirmation on it. And as you can see, like, we're trying to stay above it. If we go to the 5-minute, got above it, made, you know, hit it exactly. This is very short time frame, but, and this is just happening. We literally broke this in the past 15 minutes. So we'll see. There is a good chance that we yeah, I don't know if this was, yeah, this what we drew yesterday. You see this this triangle? I think we talked about this. It's pretty much a symmetrical triangle. This was after our stream yesterday. We came up and we broke this line of support from here, here, and here. We hit it a third time, broke out, and we came up, and then we back tested it, came back down, and hit and made this breakout point a support. And once we made it support, we didn't go back in. That gives a lot of traders confidence that it's going to act as support and bounce back up, which is exactly what happened. We came back up, hit here, consolidated, and now this is continuing. And you know, if we go technically by you know, the pattern here, we should have a, let's measure it out here. Hold on a second. From, you want to do the width of the triangle there. Oh boy, 1 second. So we're going to copy that triangle and bring it up to where we broke out. Okay, and technically, if this triangle pattern completes its technical analysis pattern, if this completes, it should bring Litecoin up to 264. And if we break this longer this longer wedge here that we've been in, you know, that could easily give it the kind of momentum it needs to finish out the cycle there. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we come up here, if we break through that this spot, and we'll see what happens. Tomorrow we can check in on it again, but it could easily happen, you know. And if we don't, there's a chance Litecoin could come back down and test the bottom of this wedge, making a higher low. But like I said, when it starts bumping up against here, you can see we hit it not too long ago. We hit the top and we came back down. We didn't come all the way down to the bottom here. We just came down a little bit, and now we're going again. So we're testing it again, and we are above it here, and you can see we broke out, we tested it, the next 5-minute candle came below it, but it came back up and closed above it. These candles, I probably should have explained it to you. You know, anyone who doesn't know, these candles are, so this is a 5-minute chart, okay? A green candle means the price started at the bottom of the candle, and within 5 minutes it came up and closed at the top of the candle, okay? But let's zoom in a little bit more. Let me go to the 15-minute, give you a little more. So but the wick, this is the top, this is the bottom, but this is the wick. Okay, they have wicks. That's when I say top and bottom. I'm not talking about the wicks. I'm talking about the body of the candle. So this is the green candle means it started here. That 15 minutes started here, and the price rose to here and closed. And then the next candle it started here and went all the way up to here and came all the way down to here. That's why it's a red candle, because the price is closed lower than the previous candle. But the wicks just mean how far it went, and the body means where it opened and closed. I hope that makes sense. But anyway, on this, we'll go back to the 5 minute and see. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. It's, this line probably isn't exactly perfect, and it's using this. It looks like we might be topping out here and heading. It doesn't mean we're going to go all the way to the bottom of the channel. We might just be coming down a little bit and then coming up to try again. That's very possible. But that's Litecoin. And I know some of you own some Chainlink. Chainlink is an oracle, they call it. It's a cryptocurrency, but it's in the oracle category, let's say. And that's, oracles are, there's a few, well-known oracles in the crypto space. And basically what they do is they are cryptocurrencies that are, their main job is to collect data, like real world data from, outside of the crypto blockchains, like the Ethereum blockchain and the Bitcoin blockchain and all of the other, cryptocurrency blockchains. They collect data from the real world and make sure it's accurate, and then they bring it into other cryptocurrencies networks, if that makes sense. And Chainlink, so basically most cryptocurrencies need data, real world data from, whether it's financial data or anything. It all depends on what the cryptocurrencies, what their focus is on, but most cryptocurrencies need that type of information, and Chainlink is the king of oracles currently. It is partnered with tons of cryptocurrencies, and it's in the top 20. It had a great summer. Last summer it really boomed, and then it's been continuing to go. So I wouldn't be surprised if Chainlink ends up in the top 10 at some point, because of how good it is at what it does, and because it's needed. It is a needed, it adds a lot of value to the space. It's needed by a lot of coins. It's needed by a lot of cryptocurrencies to run efficiently. So let's see, let's just chart this out and then we'll probably be done for the day here. Let's see, I'm gonna go to the daily chart just to get a idea. And yeah, Chainlink has been on a good move here. You could see we peaked out. This was last summer. I remember this. So we got to $20 almost, Chainlink, and then came back down quite a bit, but had a long consolidation period, and that led up to this massive channel that we're in now. So we'll draw that out. And yeah, I'm just going to try to hit as many on the way up here. Start this one here. And you can see we were in this channel. This is kind of a rough drawing, but this is what we were in, and we broke out of it. This was a few days ago. It's probably better if this is more accurate display, because we had a big run here and then a little consolidation, but the last big bump was here. So you could even bring this up, and you see we hit here, we hit here, and we hit here, came down here, came down here. This was most likely the day Bitcoin had that big kind of correction and went down like 20%. It gave all of these currencies kind of a candle that doesn't really represent the way they were going, because that all came right back the same day. We were back in this channel, so we only came down for a few hours and we're right back in it. So that's why like Uniswap had the same thing happen. But as you can see, we were in a nice ascending channel here. We hit a bunch of times on both sides, and then boom, we'll go to the, let's go to the hourly and see how that happened. Yeah, see, we came up, came back down, and kind of just stayed in the middle here. And then when we came up, as soon as we broke it, this is an hour candle. So as soon as it broke it, it kept going, and it didn't. And then so we came up, and then came back down, made it support. And now it did have another candle. Again, this is on an hourly chart, so it didn't close down here. It did go down. I'm not sure what happened that day. I mean, this was only a few days ago. Most likely it was following a Bitcoin, movement, but came down, made it support here, and then we've been consolidating again. And here it hit support again. You can see we hit support here 3 times. We did have one candle coming down, but it closed above it, which is more important than going through it. But you can see a lot of people are using this as a buy line, and I'm gonna guess that we're kind of close to another hold on here, let me use use the high. Okay, so this is the new, looks close to a symmetrical triangle. But, you know, we may come back up. I'm gonna make this a little longer. We may come back up and test this a few more times, but I would expect this is a nice consolidation pattern. I would expect a similar breakout. Not financial advice, but we are in a bull market, and if Bitcoin keeps moving the way it is, most likely most of these alts are going to follow, if not outperform, Bitcoin, because they have smaller market caps. And when a lot of money comes into this market, it doesn't take as much for some of these coins to go on big runs as much. It doesn't take a lot of money compared to Bitcoin to make Bitcoin move the way it does. If some of these coins get 1% of the total market cap for crypto, you know, where Bitcoin has like 63 right now percent, if some of these coins get 1%, they can go crazy. They can go up a lot in a very short period of time. So yeah, Chainlink is something to keep an eye on. Definitely a really nice blue chip coin. I think it will be in the top 10 by the end of the year. And it's really, really good. And we'll keep an eye on this chart. But yeah, everything, Bitcoin's making everything else look really good on its dollar values. Just for the heck of it, let's look at Link. Let me see here. I think I have it. Yeah, Link BTC. So this is Chainlink compared to, and Bitcoin's pairing. So if you were, what one Chainlink is worth compared to one Bitcoin. And, today, this is the 1 hour chart, but Bitcoin's been going up a lot. Chainlink compared to Bitcoin going down, not that much, but it's because, when Bitcoin goes on a run, not many coins can keep up. Even though their dollar value will go up, their Bitcoin pairing value, most of them will go down. But as soon as Bitcoin, it's similar. It's still in a consolidation pattern, but it's not quite the same as the dollar value. But as soon as Bitcoin, let's say we said Bitcoin might come up to 54 and start consolidating a little bit before it keeps going. If people see, Bitcoin kind of slowing down at 54 for a while, if it doesn't move too much for a few days, there's a good chance people will feel comfortable enough to take their Bitcoin holdings and move some of it to some other coins that are starting to move a lot. And like I said, they can move a lot in a short period of time if some of the money goes into them. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on this. But yeah, I would say 54 will add a trend line there. I think 54 is a good target, and then 55 or 58 would finish this pattern here from the triangle. So we'll see what happens. And I have I don't know if you guys remember what's his name, Tony Scaramucci. Is it Tony Scaramucci? But he was Donald Trump's, I think, chief of staff or something like that for a very short period of time. But he was in the financial sector before that, and he right after he stopped working with the administration, he turned he either started or converted his investment company basically into a Bitcoin investment company. And here he is on CNBC yesterday. I will we'll watch this and then I will head out. Let me just turn the music off here and turn my volume up so you guys could hear it. But here he's talking about Bitcoin, and let's see what he has to say here. And guys, if you can, just like the video. Later, once it uploads to my channel, please leave a comment. It really helps. You can click the bell icon on my channel to get alerted when I'm about to go live or when I upload a new video, and subscribe if you haven't already. And you can follow me on Twitter at Habitual Crypto. Here we go here.
Anthony, real quick, because I know you got to run, and I know you're in the business. You got a fund, you got a Bitcoin fund, but are we going 100,000 first, or are we going in reverse first?
Well, listen, the thing is volatile. Again, I want to be cautious with individual investors, but we like it. We have over $500 million in Bitcoin right now. And obviously our Bitcoin fund started in December. It's done quite well, but be cautious. But Andrew, I do think we see $100,000 in this coin before year end. It's just a supply-demand situation. And you don't have a lot of supply out there and very heavy demand. And lastly, just look at what MicroStrategy just did, a $900 million convertible bond offering instantaneously. Those are two pretty hot sectors right now, converts and Bitcoin.
Right. Anthony, real quick, because I know you got to run, and I know you're in the business.
So, yeah, that was Scaramucci talking about Bitcoin, and obviously he might be a little biased because he owns an investment company that focuses on Bitcoin currently. But yeah, I hope you guys liked the stream today. Hopefully I can get some traction on YouTube and get some more people in here, you know, who we can chart out any coin people want. And Bitcoin, yeah, all-time highs today. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Thank you all for spending this time with me. It really helps. And God bless everyone. Here's my intro movie.